Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builders Supply. This video is to bring you a closer look at the Major Manufacturing part number HIT-45AR4. Basically what this is a template. This is a fixture, a jig, an installation aid, call it whatever you like. This is a piece of machined aluminum, machined in a very particular fashion. Weighs about 0.86 pound. It's going to include the fasteners that you need to attach it to the rig that you will certainly use with this. And it will also include the Allen wrench for the flathead Allen drive screws. Okay. We're going to talk about what this gets attached to. So about 0.86 pounds. Overall height of the item, about 6 1/4. Overall width of the item, about 3 1/2. Thickness of the item, about 3/8 almost. What is this used for? Well, let's talk about that right now. If you've not hit subscribe yet, we would very much appreciate if you did, and hopefully you're enjoying this video. Now, let's get back to it. This is going to allow you to prep a door for an Adams Rite cylinder, and the handle, they have their handle, I don't recall the part number, but we'll look it up for sure. Gives you bushings to pre-drill the holes. These holes are going to allow you to attach the unit down to your clamp, basically is what it is. This is going to allow you to get the location set for your cylinder hole and the 2 holes for the mounting for either a 31/32 back set or the 1 1/8. Now, you look at that and you say, well, that's only good for one swing of door. You're right. The other side, there's your 31/32. The other side, the 31/32 is here. And that's how they go about doing that. And that's your 1 1/8 right there. Okay. This is going to include installation instructions. What I like about Major installation instructions is they are comprehensive. They are step-by-step. Lots of pictures and really large font. And this tool is, again, you've got a 4590, you've got a 4900, pardon me, you've got a 4500, a 4900 series lock body. You want to do 2 things. You want to prep for the cylinder hole, and then you want to pre-drill possibly for that lever turn hole. And that lever is going to utilize a cam plug to allow you to install that unit down to it. So you'll be able to prep really both sides of the door for a mortise cylinder, let's say on the keyed exterior, and then your lever turn that will employ the cam plug on the interior of the door. Engraved HIT-45AR4 on the bottom there. And the next thing to do is to go over the installation instructions, so let's switch to the screen view now and let's do that. If you've not hit subscribe yet, we would very much appreciate if you did, and hopefully you're enjoying this video. Now, let's get back to it. Okay, here's the item that we are looking at in the site. HIT-45AR4, cylinder and handle holes template for Adams Rite locks and latches, 31/32 or 1 1/8 back set. Will also locate mounting holes for handles and paddles with hardened drill bushings. So what they're saying is these are the hardened drill. Well, let's look at some photographs that I've got here. Here's the packaging. That's the contents. That's your hardened drill bushing here and here. So you'll be able to get lots of uses out of this. That is showing side A. You'll note both sides are not engraved. 1 1/8 on the left here, 31/32 on the left here. So you just turn it over and you'll note both sides are countersunk for the screws. When you see both sides of a template countersunk for screws, or like an automatic door bottom, that's a tip-off that it's a reversible or non-handed piece of equipment, showing a different view of the item. The fasteners and the Allen wrench that are included. And then the installation instructions were there in that second photo. The Allen wrench size is 0.125, so it's 1/8 of an inch. It's an 1/8 of an inch Allen wrench. Okay, let's switch over to the installation instructions now, which are here. Before we get there, requires a HIT-45 clamp and router equipped with a 3/8 outside diameter template and an 1 1/4 diameter, pardon me, a 1/4 inch diameter router bit. Definitely don't want an 1 1/4 router bit. Very important things here. The clamp, the guide, and the diameter of the bit. The hole inside of the template is absolutely related to the outside diameter of the template and the diameter of the router bit. The HIT 45 is what you're going to clamp to, which we'll see over here in a moment and in the product brochure. When you buy one, we'll ship you one. Let's click on the installation instructions. First page is always going to be about protection, ears, eyes. I would wear a dust mask as well. Absolutely ear protection. Routing aluminum with a carbide router bit is no major task, but it is dreadfully loud. So they're jumping into showing you how to assemble it. This is the HIT 45. You're going to need the HIT 45. Now what's cool about the HIT 45 is it allows you to do other things as well, such as prepping for the edge of the door, which is neat. Not included here, but we'll talk about that item as well. Select the proper template for the back set that you are installing. The most popular back sets are these two. Can be installed with a lock indicator or prepped with a lever paddle arrangement. Lock templates are fastened with a 1032 3/4 Allen flathead screw. The template is held on with the 1032 flat 1/2 inch Allen drive flathead screws. Determine the height of the installation. You've got to determine how far down from the top of the door your center line is going to be. I believe this template, which I don't recall the part number, I believe that has a notch or a bird's mouth cut in the edge, inside edge of the template. And what I'm trying to say is I would be measuring down from the top of my door, and with a combination square and then a pencil, I would strike the center line, and I would line that pencil mark up with my template. If you are installing the new lock above an existing lock, be sure to remove the existing lock or any other hardware in the channel. Yeah, that's something only a person would know who's actually done it in the past. And the people at Major are people who have done it in the past. This entire product line is a confluence of a tool nerd, an engineer, a machinist, and a guy that has been in the field installing material for years. And those four sorts of characteristics describe one individual over at Major. He's extremely helpful. A self-defined tool nerd. So he obviously did that once and didn't do it again. So determine your height. You're going to have to determine your height based on what's already existing. Is the prep in the frame already existing, or maybe in the edge of the inactive door? If it is, you're going to need to use the Adams Rite template to figure out where you're positioning this. And we'll take a look at an Adams Rite template in a moment. If you are enjoying this video, please click thumbs up or like, and also please consider subscribing to our channel. Let's move on to the rest of the video. Okay, now the router needs to be equipped with a 3/8 outside diameter template guide mounted in its base. Failure to use that template guide is going to result in a hole too large, maybe one too small, but probably too large. Well, I would say too small most likely. But you're going to need the OD of the guide to be 3/8. It has to be 3/8. Equally mandatory is the 1/4 inch diameter router bit installed in the collet of the router. Adjust the depth of it so that you're going to route a 1/4 or 3/8 into the door channel. We'll show you router bits that the manufacturer has as well. And this is kind of what your pre-drilling installation looks like. Somehow you've figured out the dimension, likely from the top of the door to the center line of the lock, to prep this at. Drill a 3/8 or larger starting hole for the router bit in the center of the template hole. I might mark that and then drill it without this really expensive material attached to the door. I might drill it first and then find my center line. I might drill my starter hole and then put all of this. This is hundreds of dollars of what you're looking at here. Drill the same starting holes over here. So yeah, I'm going to mark those and I'm going to drill those as well. Another thing that I do is when I don't need something. Meaning, let me explain that. When I don't need to prep for something on a door, and over the years and decades, in fact, of interpreting templates, the Sargent template is always a great example of this. The Sargent template basically gives you holes 1 through 8, functions with a dot for what functions. When I go to prep my door, I will highlight what I'm prepping. I will maybe put an X through what I'm not. And in the case of what we're doing here is I might put masking tape over things that I don't need to drill, because I want to move quickly. I want to ritualize the process. I don't want to have to rethink every step of the way. And I want to dumb it down so I can make time, so to speak. So just making it easier, I suppose, is the moral of that story. Moving on, whatever template you've got, drill your starter holes. I think that's what they're looking for. Before you route, they're recommending this Tapmatic edge cream made by LPS Company. They make lubricant, a variety of different items. You will, the first time that you route aluminum, be grateful for your ear protection. It's very loud, creates a lot of racket and a lot of chips, and anything you can do to deaden that is beneficial to you and all those around you while you're doing the work. And their experience tells them to suggest Tapmatic edge cream. Okay, once you've got all your holes started and it's lubricated, place the router bit in the starting hole, and with firm control of the router, follow the HIT 45 template and feed the router in slowly in a clockwise direction. That's got everything to do with the rotational direction of the bit. I very much appreciate the smallest horsepower router that you can get your hands on. I always used to like the Porter Cable 100. It's a long discontinued model, but it's about a 7/8 horsepower. The one that's in here is probably well over a 1 horse. And the point of saying that is because they're lighter. They're lighter and easier to control, in my opinion. If you're doing small work, use a small router. Make sure the base of the router is held flat on the routing template, absolutely. We advise routing the cylinder sides of the door first and the faceplate, which is here on the edge, last. I suppose I could see why you probably would expel less material out the edge of the door if it's not completely open. When completed with the cut, turn the router off and wait for the bit to come to a complete stop before removing it from the template. If you pull it out, the risk of nicking the edge of the template is very real. It only, if you're just religious about not pulling it out until it's completely off, you won't nick any templates. Use the same procedure, route the other side of the door, route the edge of the door. What I do is I do one route, and then I'll go back and make one cleaning pass, and that's it. Never a third pass. Brush away the chips. We recommend making this cut last because of the unlikely event of a broken router bit. The large faceplate hole will be covered by the router base, and the broken bit will most likely be contained in the channel. Yeah, absolutely. If you have hardware that requires the holes through the face of it, now would be the time to drill those. A number 21 bit, not a fractional size. You're going to want a drill index size. The number 21 is a very specific wire size, and just to show you what that is fractionally, because a lot of people aren't familiar with wire sizes. The smaller number, the bigger the diameter. A number 21 is 0.159 diameter. 5/32, bookended on one side and 11/64 on the other. 0.1562 versus 1590, it's not the same size. So it's either going to be too small or well too large. So investing in a wire gauge, if you're doing this kind of work, is extremely beneficial. Actually, I can show you what a part number would be for an entire set of them. Yeah, right here. General purpose high-speed wire gauge. It would be the Irwin 80181. $60 piece in a metal case. I know for sure that I own one of these. Okay, so wire size number 21. At this point, you're going to go in and clean up any sort of chatter that's on the everything that you've done. Obviously, wipe it all down. You don't want to drag any of the micro aluminum that's going to be in the rag across the face. It will scratch. If you need to tap any holes, now is the time as well. And you're going to need to if you're attaching hardware. This is mounting bridges for the lock body itself. This is a major mounting bridge. They have their own mounting material for attaching Adams Rite bodies. It's the LMB-08, and the LMB-089 is the handle or the fixture for getting it installed. If you're installing Adams Rite, you'll need some consideration as to how to attach the lock body to the edge of the door. This is one way to do that. Your lock body goes in. Your bridges are your bridges are installed. Your lock body goes in. Secure lock with the screws supplied with the lock. Absolutely. Cylinders go in. You'll also note that it was a 1/4 inch diameter router bit. That tells me that the radius of those corners is 1/8 of an inch. No need to go in and do any extra work there. Your other cylinder goes in. This is probably going to be an occupancy indicator here, would be my guess. Yeah, it sure is. Telling you visually if the door's locked or unlocked. Attach your faceplate. Now you've got to prep your frame. They're just marking it with the bolt. Sure, no harm, no foul doing that. Combination square allows you to transfer those points and will show you where to prep that. A combination square is absolutely necessary when you're doing this work, and I would get one as high-tech and elaborate as possible, in the sense that sometimes it's hard to read what's happening on the scale itself, on the rule. So use one that's of really high quality and denominated in the proper base unit that you want. 1/16ths, 30-seconds, metric, whatever it might be. Pencil lines in the jamb. So this is clearly a cased opening frame that they're doing here. They've got a center line struck. They've got the height of this, and then certainly what they're going to do is split that difference and give you a prep like this. But you do have to base it off of a center line. Yeah, they're using their template for this, which is the 40 AR5, and they're attaching that literally right to the jamb. And then you're going to drill a starter hole, and then you're going to lubricate it, and then you're going to route it. Okay, clean it up after you've removed the template, and you're in great shape. Installing a pop rivet. Why do we need a pop rivet? Oh, sure. The holes that you use to hold on the template, they're saying to fill those. Absolutely. Shouldn't be too much of a problem with a pop rivet. Hit 45 breakdown of the clamp. That isn't necessary to be here, but nonetheless it is. So it would be nice to take a look at the Adams Rite 4500, as it's going to give us a template that we can use for understanding what we need to do to go about prepping something. So 4510 is the part number, not 4500. Template, well, not much of a template here. This is a cut sheet is what it is. But using this, we should be able to figure out what we're doing. All right, so it does give you some information. You have a center hole. You have a center line referenced for your cylinder hole. From there, you can determine a center line of the strike, because they give you the cylinder center hole to the center line of the strike. Depending on what strike you're using, you want to look at that as well. This is obviously a latch and not a deadbolt, but the logic is the same. You're probably going to be you may be starting with something already in the door. You might already have a lock edge, but now you need to do a strike prep only. You'll look at the template of the hardware and figure out what is your baseline, what is your starting point, and then extract off of the documentation the other dimensions and do your simple mathematics to arrive at the center line of your lock prep. So if I was going to be doing this prep, I would have to determine, where do I want the center line of something. If I want the center line of the handle, This is a 4590 push-pull handle. If I wanted the center line of the handle, I know that's going to be over the center line of the, and you can look at the template for the 4590, over the center line of this. So I know I'm going to be starting with this as the fixed point. So you'll have to determine everything else that you do based on some starting point. Okay. Now, there is a link below this video to the product brochure. Let's take a look at that. This is going to show us the HIT 45. This is the clamp that's going to allow you to get the template attached out here, as they're showing literally right here. And I like the HIT 45 platform because it does give you the ability to route the edge of the door. It also gives you the ability to use this clamp and route many other types of locks. Panic devices, cylindrical locks, mortise locks with function holes, like they're showing here. So it's a platform that once you invest in, you can springboard that into other preps. Router guides, if you're going to need one, now is the time to buy one. Part numbers. Router bits. If you need one, now is the time to buy one. 1/4 inch down shear. That'd be great for this work that you're doing. Complete kits. The 45-2 gives you lots of stuff. If you're going to be doing this work all the time, this will be the most economical way to get parts that will substantially get you started. Aluminum door templates. We're doing the AR4, and here it is. AR3, AR2. You can read the description for what they do. A bit. Door edge template here, here. Mortise lock templates are here. Also, what I like about the HIT 45 is you can also do wood doors with this as well. There's going to be a plate that you can attach. Well, this is for the edge, but you'll be able to attach one to do like a mortise pocket in a wood door with this HIT 45. I don't recall what part number it is, but that would certainly be in the full line catalog, and we can get to the full line catalog by clicking on the link here below this video to the manufacturer's page in our site, where you can pull up not only all of the major products we sell by means of this horizontal navigation here, but also a link to the manufacturer's website, as well as a link to the full product catalog. You can fire that up, and about half of the way down through the catalog, you'll get to where all the fixtures, the jigs, the templates, the installation aids are located. Yeah, about halfway through. The second half of the catalog is only door installation, hardware installation aids when it comes to prepping doors and frames for this material. Really, really great stuff. The first half of the catalog is security hardware mostly, and other items that are very useful to the locksmith trade. Mounting brackets, latch protectors, things of that nature. Let's wrap up this video on camera. Now, in conclusion, if you have any questions on the major HIT 45 AR4 or any other major product, please feel free to reach out to us. This is investment grade material. When you buy one of these, you'll very likely use it for your entire career. Investments in tools, especially in the locksmithing industry, are significant and always are. I liken that to the fact that the manufacturer of the tool has a relatively low volume of sales. How many of these will you sell to one person? Possibly one in their career. And high amount of research and development just to get it made. This is probably, I don't know, but this is probably just a CNC machined piece of aluminum, not a super big deal. But nonetheless, it takes somebody with that skill set to create this part alone and give you the really nice fit and finish that you see right here. Any questions on the major HIT 45 AR4 or any other major product, please feel free to reach out to us. And thank you. Thank you for watching, and if you've enjoyed this video, please click thumbs up, please subscribe, and maybe even send the video to someone that you know. Thank you.